And we're back. Welcome, welcome. This is our next episode of Trigger Warning. With me again today, I've got Gary Russell and Sammy Chon. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Today's episode is going to be a juicy one. We are talking about crypto con artists and how to protect yourself in a digital world. So this is maybe something that some of you might have experienced. I know for sure that Gary has experienced some scams and some cons, and he's very good at recognizing cons and scams from a distance. But we also want to use this opportunity to help equip you to be able to recognize it, specifically in the crypto industry. So, Sammy, I'm going to start straight with you. Like, what are some typical ways that people can get scammed in cryptocurrency?
All right, so there's two different types of scams, but we're going to talk about the short con or the immediate stuff. And that is the intention of the person. They're not trying to do anything except steal your passwords or steal your private 12 keys and get access to your wallet to the point where they can withdraw everything out of your account, whether that's online banking, whether that's email, right? Or whether that's a brokerage account, a centralized exchange, or a decentralized wallet. They have one goal in mind, is to get you to click something that looks like the authentic, or click something that starts recording all activity on your browser. And through that, they're going to start to try to take out, get access, right? So first thing is, if you're getting a message or an email, do you know who's sending it to you? Does the email sending domain, is that the one that you've been using? Let's say you get an email, it looks like from MetaMask.wherever, and you reply, hey, this is Sammy. Is this email legit? You're sending it to the scammer. What do you think they're going to reply to you? Yeah, this is me. Click the link.
It's legit.
Right? That's phishing with the PH, right? So the first and foremost is, do not give your 12 keys to anybody under no circumstances. That's just a hard and fast rule. Okay? That's the number one way that you can prevent scams. Number two, if you're working with your cryptocurrency wallet, work on a fresh browser instance that you only use for cryptocurrency. Do not interact with your MetaMask wallet or anything that has your 12 keys that you're also browsing Facebook, YouTube, and all these other things. Right, so I'll kind of pause there, Janine, if you want me to clarify it all a little bit or dig a little bit deeper into any other parts of that. But the short con is they want your passwords, they want your keys, they're going to use anything they can to intercept off of you. And once they get control, there's no stop payments. There's no forensic. The FBI or the CIA is not going to get involved for your crypto that gets stolen. They have much bigger problems to go chase down.
So you really have to be security conscious, and there are some basic things that you can do to prevent it. Always just have security at top of mind, and be aware. Be aware, right? Check the emails, like you said, Sammy. Just be vigilant with these guys that are chancers. They're almost more chancer type con artists. They're just trying to get whatever they can.
Yeah, you got to know where to connect, where to download. You know, someone downloaded a fake MetaMask plugin, installed it, and put their information in because a scammer made a MetaMask a different ending fake website, and they installed that fake plugin. So again, like, you got to know where you're downloading stuff from, where you're always going for the most official, approved version of the app or the plugin or the connection. So these are all super important things, but you have to be vigilant of. Now, if you're not in a good state of mind, if you're kind of sleepy, you're kind of drowsy, do not interact with your cryptocurrency wallet. Go get a coffee. Make sure you're awake and double check things before you click send. Double check things before you click things. All right. So that's very, very important. Just best practices and wisdom for how to not get scammed when it comes to cryptocurrency or even any financial things.
Yes. Let's take a bit wider. Those are chancers that try and con you. If we take it a bit wider and look at cryptocurrencies and tokens as a whole, I know that you can speak into that too. How to recognize the con artist token or coin or cryptocurrency?
Well, that's called the long con. They're propping up an image. They're making everything look good. They're reverse engineering all the things that you might look at and then try to convince you to buy in. But they're still preying off of one thing: greed for a shortcut. Okay, so let's establish that. I'm not saying everybody who's gotten scammed got scammed because they were 100% all greedy. You saw something that had a pretty decent level of rate of return and you're like, all right, let's do it. But at the end of the day, their intentions were nefarious to try to take your money. Now, what do? They build a website that looks fantastic. They have documentation. They prop up all these things to earn your confidence. Again, con people, the long con, is engineered by people that would rather work hard and provide real value, right? And then do things to steal. On that one, you have to think about wisdom. You have to think about, does this make sense, right? One, if you're part of our internal community, the Axe Investors Club, you can always send us information about a potential investment and we'll check on it for you and do our due diligence as we would do to equip you on how to recognize things that are too good to be true, right? I mean, I'll ask Gary, when a deal is too good to be true, what is the most common thing that happens after you investigate into your research?
What's the most common thing that I say?
That you see on when someone sends you something and they're so excited about it.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say this. I'm gonna disagree with what Sammy said slightly. If you got ripped off, you were 100% greedy all the time, added with desperation. So here's what happens: you make poor choices in life. You need something to be your lottery ticket. You see something that sounds too good to be true. You're desperate. You're greedy for the money. You think the return's going to be your lottery ticket. I've done it with probably more money than most people have because of the situation that you're in. And then you find yourself worse off because whatever money you had is now gone. And God forbid you borrowed money. I didn't borrow money. At least it was my own money. But I mean, God forbid you borrowed money. So I would say it's trigger warning. I'm trying not to get triggered during this
Yes,
because
I've
been ripped off in the past. But I would say greedy and desperation. I'll tell you, it's 2008. The market crashed. I lost millions of dollars. We're making hard decisions. We're on budgets. Things are going on. The bills are piling up, and it's not a fun time. And I got talked into a $100,000 private placement platform, which is a place which offers unheard of returns that nobody else on the planet, including Warren Buffett, knows about or can do, but these magical people can do it. It's just a Ponzi scheme, right? Well, although it was really cool, so I call it a Fonzie scheme because I thought it was cool, right? And so in a series of desperation, and then we ended up going to a attorney. Luckily, he didn't charge us, who gave us some real high level output for when you get to that level. And a different instance got me on the phone with the Secret Service and the FBI. I'm very aware, and the embassy, U.S. embassy in another country. I'm very aware of how all these people operate, and there's really no help for crypto or fiat because all those folks are there to fight terrorism, not get your money back, even if you meet the thresholds. And so you get in a desperate situation, and you're being greedy, and you need this for past. One reason why a lot of aged out sports stars and celebrities lose their money because they make big gamble stuff like this. And then you need this one thing to turn everything around, and then it doesn't. And God forbid it does, because there's a thing called clawback. And if it's a Ponzi scheme and you got paid with somebody else's money and it crashes, you have to give the money back. And if you're a vendor of theirs and they've been paying you, you have to pay that back as well. So typically the people who get in early in a Ponzi scheme make money, tell everybody about it. And then when it crashes down, they are told that everything that they got, they have to pay back, and they're out their initial money. And all that money they've got, they've spent.
Yeah. So,
Right.
and
Sold
Gary
the
brings up.
vehicles and things.
Yeah,
to-
it's just, now, yeah, in the crypto world, I have not been ripped off, because in the old school regular fiat world, I've been ripped off enough. You know, that 100K was a small one. There's another one's got a few million. I've been ripped off enough to go, right. So if we're so Sammy bring a deal, and I'll be like, first off, it sounds too good to be true. Somebody with money, substance, and wherewithal wouldn't do that deal. They're like, nope, that thing's a scam. But if you need the money, if you need it to make up for stuff, if you're desperate, if you got to prove something, and the greed comes in, and it all wraps into one thing, and then judgment goes out the window.
Yeah. The scammers are looking for people that have a gambler's mentality.
Yep.
Have lost previously on things. They're looking to make up for the past losses on that. And then they usually throw the time is of the essence in there to make you blow all the stop signs and yield signs of wisdom. Right? And then the rate of return is too good to be true, and it's not sustainable. It like they build that environment looking to trap people. Now, if you're like, that feels like me. Like I check all the boxes for that avatar. Doesn't mean you have to stay there. And it doesn't mean you have to be destined for poverty. You've just got to keep leveling up. And on this, do your own research, DYOR. You're going to hear that a lot in the financial world, and definitely in the crypto world. How do you do it? You got to do some Googling. You got to do your research, right? And you got to like have a certain set of bullet points that you check everything through, right?
We can give them the first. We can give them the first one.
Yeah.
Slow down. Take a deep breath. The only thing that's going to pay you like a lottery ticket is a lottery ticket. You want this to be your lottery ticket. If there's something that will just give you money that you don't have to do anything for, that's safe. Anything other than that is going to leave a place you don't want to be. So the first thing you need to do is just slow down, take a deep breath. There's not a magic bullet coming. There's not. I know we've said it. I know we've thought it in our head. I know this is going to be the one. The people Sammy just described, the percentage of the population that fit into that are about 85% of us. Mostly all of us. There's some old school people who don't fall for anything and they don't have any fun. But about 85% of the planet have a little bit of that. I think this is going to be the one mentality. And then it's real easy to blow the stop sign, the first one, the second one, and just get down the road and go, okay. Then the money's gone. You know, Charles Ponzi, who came up with the first Ponzi scheme for stamps, when he realized that he could just make more money selling stamps that didn't exist, he just kept selling. The original investors, even though he got arrested, it was brought out that it was a fraud, he went to jail, the whole thing, the original investors refused to believe that and went to their graves knowing they made a wise decision and that they were going to get their money back because it was their last bit of hope. So then you get in this and you need it, you hope, right? And so some people just hang on to the bitter end because they put all their hope in it. And when you put all your hope in it, all you can do is just like, you can't live without your hope and you don't know how to get away from it. But there are people who are like, oh, no, it's fine. My money's safe. Early investors, my money's safe. Right. So it can happen. It can happen to any of us.
And generally, whether it's crypto or any type of investment, you want to always diversify. Make sure not all your eggs are in one basket. Make sure you're not spending more than what you've got. You don't want to go spend your inheritance and your savings and go sell your vehicle to invest into something.
Oh, spend the future earnings before you
get them.
Yeah, well, big mistake that's happened. That like financing things, kicking the can down the road on payment, you know, things like that. That's all, I mean, those types of deals and enticing ways to structure things are all to bring people like that in. Yeah.
And crypto adds a new element. It's so simple for somebody to overlook something. Seth Green had an NFT. He was going to do something, and he put in the wrong keys and lost the NFT and whatever movie deal, and everything was wrapped around it out the window, right? So in the past, if you lost money, you would go to your bank, we go to the Secret Service, we go to the FBI, we go to the embassy, and we're like, there's some people maybe helpless. Crypto's a one and done. If somebody's got your stuff, it's theirs now. And so if you take greed, desperation, and you add on top of it, and the thing that I'm going to say right now affects about 95% of the world's population, laziness. If you add on laziness on top of greed and desperation, you'll just do a shortcut. You'll forget about crap, I need to get it done, and then you'll just like, let me just get it done, and then you look and you'll be like, was I on the right website? Where'd my stuff go? Where are my keys? Who's got my thing? Who's got my NFT? Who's got my crypto? Where'd it go? And then you can't get it back. And then denial kicks in. And then you go to every forum on the planet and everybody underneath the sun because somebody needs to pay for this because it's somebody else's fault and it's not yours. Like once you start looking at these things, they just cycle over and over and over and over again. We all do the same thing. And I talk to people and I'm like, well, hey, the good news is I probably got ripped off for more money than you have. So.
But you learned the hard lesson, and if we can
learned the hard lesson.
That wasn't fun.
No, I might have been in a better financial position also to lose that money than they were. So even though my amount was greater, their amount was greater to them. And I'm fully aware of that. So I'm like, just slow down. It's too good to be true. If anybody's gonna, if there's a Nigerian prince who has money for you, he'll just see you. He doesn't need anything from you. If you won the lottery, you won the lottery. You know what I'm saying? It's like you give your ticket. They're like, here's a big fat bag of money. It's not like I won the lottery. Okay, now you give me $100,000 and I got $1 million for you. That's not a thing. So just slow down so you can keep your stuff.
So in short, just be prepared, do your research,
Uh-huh.
make sure you are awake and interactive with your keys and know where everything is. Everything is stored in a safe place. You know what you're doing. You're checking the sites. You're checking the emails. You're just vigilant, but you're also savvy. You're applying wisdom because you're doing research, and you're not going to spend more than you earn or money that you don't have, and you're also not going to put everything into one basket. So.
Right.
Anything else that we can add to that, or is that sort of a short list, people?
That's a short list. Just deep breath, slow down. There's no free ride. It requires work.
Oh, I have one last one. If you made a mistake in the past and you got scammed, one, forgive yourself, but do a rewind and think back to where the critical mistakes were.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
if you're saying things like, I got screwed, that person ripped me off, we need to reframe that to, your greed allowed you to trust the wrong person. It was a judgment error on my part. And again, this is a trigger warning, but we want to help you get healed and past that. I had business partners in the past, and my old self would say, I got screwed. My new self was able to do a postmortem on a failed thing, so I trusted the wrong person. I willingly entered into a business relationship with someone that I knew I shouldn't have trusted. So that's a part of
greed and desperation.
Yeah. And then you forgive yourself. You want to write it on a piece of paper and throw it in the fire, a campfire, or whatever to get past it.
Right.
And say, I'm a wiser, smarter, better person because I've done a proper postmortem. Right? You want to shift the blame. You want to make excuses. You want to blame, Carl Icahn or whoever. That's up to you. Or you can take responsibility for your financial future and get better, stronger, and wiser for it. So.
And that is something that I do love about Axe Token. Part of our what we offer is training to help people make wise financial decisions, to be diligent in the small things so that when you do have more, you know how to work with money. So, anything else to add, Gary, Sammy, before we finish off this episode?
No, that was good.
So that's it for us. Be wise, take a deep breath. Don't just make a hasty decision, and we'll see you again for our next episode. We'll see you soon on Trigger Warning. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.